Hello, Assalamu alaikum. In this video, we will understand about the role of the FGF23 in phosphate and calcium regulation in body physiology. So, the homeostasis we will understand via a CLOTHO protein activation and activity of the CLOTHO protein with the FGF23. Let's understand about from the bones. So, this is the whenever the phosphate when rise and calcium will decrease. So in this way, when calcium decrease and the phosphate will rise, will lead to activate the parathyroid gland. This parathyroid gland to release the parathyroid hormone. This parathyroid hormone will target to the parathyroid hormone receptor of the bone osteocyte. In this way, also the phosphate sensing protein are present in the osteocyte for sense the phosphate, and in this way basically the FGF23 basically degranulation and formation through a parathyroid hormone stimulation. And in this way you can see this is the DNA will activate and to produce the FGF23 fragments. This FGF23 fragments will combine together to mature FGF23. This basically FGF23 will basically target to the kidney in the nephron, the proximal and distal convoluted tubule of the nephron for reabsorption of the calcium and sodium, while it will excrete the phosphate group. So this is the nephron which that shows the glomerulus and the bone capsule. In this way, this is the proximal convoluted tubule contain a FGF23 receptor, FGF receptor, and distal convoluted tubule. In this way, the filtrate will be a phosphate and calcium, a lot of filtrate, but we are just focusing on the phosphate and calcium. When phosphate and calcium will be filtrate, in this way, here is the bigger picture to understand. The CLOTHO will bind with the FGF receptor to activate via a binding of the FGF23 to activate the MAP kinase signaling pathway will lead to inhibit the NPT2A, which that phosphate reabsorption channel will inhibit. In this way the hyperphosphatemia will be impossible. In this way the age relating issue and aging, phosphate related aging due to the hyperphosphatemic aging will inhibit. In this way, the phosphate will remain in the lumen of the nephron and excrete this phosphate for the normal physiology. And in this way, the blood will excrete the extra phosphate, for inorganic phosphate. If not released, so the kidney stone can be possible. Phosphate stone. On the other hand, here is the osteocyte. If we will discuss, which that contain FGF receptor 1 and 3. When bind with the FGF23, will lead to activate the ERK1 and 2, will inhibit the TNAP. What is the meaning of that? TNAP is responsible for the production of the inorganic phosphate. So the upregulation of inorganic phosphate will inhibit via a FGF23 and the autocrinally bind. So anyhow, in this way, the absorption into the blood circulatory system, this phosphate will be inhibited via a FGF23. Let's understand about the distal convoluted tubule of the nephron, which that contain a FGF23 binding with the FGF receptor 1C through a alpha CLOTHO as a helping protein. In this way, will lead to activate the ERK1 and 2 as GK1 and WNK4 activation. This activation will lead to NCC and TRPV5 channel will lead to activate, and in this way the absorption of sodium and calcium will possible, but inhibit this MAP kinase and vitamin D inhibition, synthesis of vitamin D, as well as the NPT2A channel for inhibition of the phosphate reabsorption. This is the lumen contain urine. So in this way the distal tubular cell basically here. Let's understand about the proximal convoluted tubule, basically which that contain a FGF receptor 1C and alpha CLOTHO will combine together, bind with the FGF23, will lead to activate the ERK1 and 2 SGK1 and the NHERF1, which that will inhibit and degradation of the NAP NAP-I2A channel will lead to inhibit the absorption of phosphate, and also activate the CYP27B1 gene will lead to inhibit the calcitrol into the active form of the vitamin D 125 dihydroxyvitamin D3. In this way, the vitamin D3 is very important for the absorption of the phosphate. So in this way will be impossible. So that is why. Anyhow, the calcium and phosphate upregulation will lead to hypercalcemia and hyperphosphatemia. This will lead to cause kidney stone, and the calcium and phosphate related aging and other complications can be possible. Inorganic phosphate upregulation cause the complication like aging and kidney stone and other things. So the disease causing agent can be possible due to the upregulation of the calcium and phosphate, but the normal physiology and homeostatic effect due to the FGF23 is very important. The pathophysiological condition due to the loss of CLOTHO and the impairment of the FGF23 bioactivity and the decrease in phosphaturia, and in this way the phosphate retention will occur. This phosphate retention will lead to cause the phosphate related aging in the body physiology. Anyhow, let's understand about the function of calcium. So what is the function of calcium? The muscle contraction is important due to the calcium. If not, so the fatigue can be possible due to the muscle require the calcium. Degranulation of vesicles, releasing of the neurotransmitter also important through a calcium. Digestive motility, cardiac function, osteogenesis and synaptogenesis, and neuroplasticity for the cognition and normal function, inhibition of the Parkinson disease and the Alzheimer disease. Transportation is important from one cell, for example the degranulation of the insulin, glucagon and other hormone. Anyhow, let's understand about the function of the phosphate. The function of the phosphate is the DNA synthesis, RNA synthesis, ATP production and NADPH formation, the GTP and AMP formation, and in this way the energy related things which that synthesis through a phosphate. The enzyme regulation and glycolysis and Krebs cycle is also important through the phosphate. So the phosphate is too much important, but the normal level in the blood is too much important because the phosphate is normally important. Thanks for watching. If you like my video, please make sure to subscribe, like and share. See you.